Good morning to everyone, and thanks for joining us for this webinar as we visit with our host from Pathable, who is our platform host for the NAFB virtual convention this year. Alicia Grace has been with Pathable for some time now and is our onboarding specialist and has done a fantastic job working with us as we've set up we've set up the platform. We did send out credentials this morning for everyone who is registered to be a part of the virtual convention this year. Hope that you've had a chance to check that out. Fill up your profile, add a picture, add your bio, add as much information as possible. And we're looking forward to this virtual convention experience that's going to be coming up in just a few more weeks. I'm going to turn over hosting duties to Alicia Grace. She has a presentation she's going to share with everyone, and whenever she's finished, we'll go ahead and take questions and answers from everyone at that time. So please welcome Alicia Grace from Pathable as she walks us through how the platform works for broadcasters in Trade Talk this year.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining. So I am going to go ahead and get started. If you do have any questions during the presentation and you want to put them in the chat just to make sure that you don't forget them, you can do that as well, because I'll be referring to that towards the end as well for our questions. But yes, we're going to go ahead and get started. Ooh, and actually, I forget this every time. Let me make sure I share my audio as well. Okay. Okie dokie. So thank you for coming to this demonstration here. So on our agenda today, I'm going to quickly talk about your experience as a broadcaster on the site in terms of how you're going to get into these Zoom rooms to have these interviews with the exhibitors. We'll also talk a little bit about the Zoom features that you are going to be able to use as an attendee for this, and then we will open up the floor then for questions. So first we'll talk about how you're going to navigate into these virtual trade show booths. So actually, I'm going to open this up in a different window because I want the quality of this video to be top notch for you. So, okay, first, actually, let me pause. If anybody is seeing the video unclearly or if it's blurry, please let me know in the chat so I can adjust. I just want to make sure you're able to see the content. But, okay. So this video is showing how you're going to access, actually let me give one quick disclaimer. So I did do this demonstration on my Sandbox website, and the theme of that is a music festival, which is why you see tabs such as lineup and organizations. For your site, it will say agenda at the top, so just please keep that in mind that everything will be branded to your organization, even though the process is just the same. So one second. So yes, you'll navigate into the agenda to get to the agenda item for this Trade Talk session. So you'll click up at the top there. And then you will see the agenda session. It'll probably labeled Trade Talk or however Tom has decided to do that. And it'll take you to a list of every organization that is available during that time. So you will scroll down until you find the organization that you want to go talk to at the time. So for this instance, I wanted to go talk to that Target booth. So I'm going to click into their organization page. When you are here, this is where their organization booth page will live. So more than likely it's going to be all decked out with all of the bells and whistles. They'll probably have some additional brochures or files or videos for you to take a look at. This portion of the website is available during the entire year that the site will be live. So you can always reference this page and whatever content that they have at any time. But as you can see, there's that Enter Virtual Trade Show Booth button, which is what you're going to use to get into their Zoom room to have these interviews. So when you are ready, you will click into that button. This is going to take you into the meeting that they have, which is where their Zoom room lives. So although you do have access to this area of the site, we do suggest not putting any content in here unless they've already done that, because you will not have access to this page after the virtual trade show hours are over. So I believe it's from 7 to 1 on that first day. If I'm mistaken, Tom, I do apologize, but after 1 o'clock when this event concludes, you won't have access to this page because this is where their meeting lives. You'll still be able to get to that organization booth page. So just don't anticipate to have too many long-lasting conversations on this page specifically. So once you're there, you're going to click into that join meeting button, and then that blinking dot will let you know that this meeting has started and somebody is there and available to greet you. Admit somebody in. There's somebody in the waiting room there. And then it will pop you out into Zoom because you do need to have the Zoom application downloaded. We want to make sure that you get all of the features of Zoom during this broadcasting presentation. So that is how you're going to get to that Zoom room where all of those exhibitors will be. So just as kind of a quick overview, you're going to click into your agenda. You're going to navigate to that agenda item that is the trade talk, or however it's going to be listed there. It's going to take you to a list of all of the organizations that are available to chat with at the time, and then you'll click into the ones you want. You can go to multiple booths throughout the entire time of it, but click there and join that virtual trade show room. So next we will kind of talk about the Zoom features that you have available as an attendee for that. So I'm actually going to open this video as well so that we have some good quality going on. But so towards the bottom, if you do want to record, which I'm sure many of you will want to, you are going to have to ask the host to give you that permission to record, just because by default, since you're the attendee there, you do not have the initial permission to, but that can easily be given to you. So when you do, you can either ask them via the chat, or you can do it out loud and just say, hey, can you allow me to record this? They'll make that change on their end, and then you'll see that become available. So in this demonstration, I did it within the chat. So I just chatted with the host to ask them to let me in, or to let me record, I'm sorry. And so she'll either reply to me to the chat, or again, you can do this live since you're going to be talking to each other, just ask it out loud. And then once that change has been made, you will see the ability to record there available at the bottom for you when you click on it. So as you can see, I've now started the recording. So this is going to be a file on my computer that I can use at any point.
I can talk to you. I'm muted. Theoretically to begin sometime the 1st of January.
I'm actually gonna mute some people here. 1 second.
Put together a government affairs.
There we go. Okay, get everybody muted there. But yes, so that is the list of controls that you'll have. And again, I'll actually back up just so you can see. You do have the ability to mute and unmute your camera, stop or turn on your video. You can see all of the participants that are in the entire Zoom room with you. You can chat with them, and then you also have the ability to share your screen as well. So again, just to review, those are the Zoom features that you as a broadcasting attendee do have to utilize during this, this Trade Talk session. Whenever you are, so you are probably going to be put in and out of breakout rooms by the host so that you can speak to the exhibitors one-on-one to conduct these interviews. Whenever you are entering or leaving a breakout room, you will receive one of these 2 messages just to let you know that you are being moved to a different room. And then a few exhibitors may decide to enable that waiting room feature, very similar to what we had on this meeting today. So you will receive a message to let you know that you are in the waiting room and that the host will let you in shortly. In terms of Zoom controls and how you're going to get to that session, that is all I have in terms of presentation, but I wanted to open this up for questions. If you want me to walk you through anything on the site, I'm available to do that as well. So this is free for anybody to put those questions in the chat or to just ask them out loud as well. Let's see. And then I believe everybody should be able to mute and unmute themselves. Let me just check. Which, is there a backup recording? So the recording is going to be saved to your computer, so it isn't anywhere on our cloud for our Zoom licensing. So it'll be wherever you choose to record that on your desktop. Is there a way to know how many others are waiting to do an interview with the host? That information is reserved kind of for the host to let you know. You are able to see who else is in that Zoom room with you, but you aren't at that point aware of who's speaking with whom at the time. So you can get an overall picture of who's there, but in terms of who's waiting, who's next in line, or who's ready to do what, that would be something the host would have to communicate to you or anyone from the organization staff.
I'm anticipating along that front that the booths that have a dedicated host signed up to them will probably have the conversation along the lines where they'll say, you know, welcome to the booth this morning. I'm going to use Susan as an example. It's good to see you, Susan. Susan says, hey, I'd like to talk to Joe. You know, the host of the booth says, you know what, Joe's been tied up for 4 or 5 minutes. He's over there doing an interview with Tom. He thought that it would probably take 5 or 6 minutes. So if you just want to hang on here, well, we'll get you in right away. Or they may turn around and say, I mean, this would be similar to what we've had in the actual environment. They just started with an interview. They said they're going to probably be 10 or 15 minutes. Maybe you want to check back later. So I can see that playing out both ways.
And then I did see someone suggest that it would probably be best to mention you do have the ability to schedule private one-on-one meetings with any attendees throughout the conference, which might be a great way to kind of schedule personal time to talk with any of these exhibitors to have that interview if they're not available at the same time you are. In order to do that, there are 2 ways that you can. You can click on to schedule and schedule a meeting, and then you'll just search for the specific person that you are looking to speak with. You're able to search here for the list of participants. Or if you know exactly who you are looking to speak with, you can go straight to both their page, anywhere that allows you to click into their profile. So for example, I'll go to an organization here. So I'm just clicking one here, and if I see that I want to speak with either of these 2 people at a specific time and kind of schedule that private meeting, I can click onto their profile, and then this schedule meeting button is available for you to again make that private meeting with them, so that way if the exact trade talk hours aren't working for the schedule, if there's somebody that has specific hours that they're available, you can utilize this feature as well to conduct that session. It is again a Zoom meeting that's just one-on-one between the 2 of you, and you do have the ability to record that as well. I noticed that Chuck had mentioned there are a couple of third-party applications that will record the Zoom audio for you without needing to get the permission from the host, but if you are looking to record it directly within Zoom, the host will just have to give you the permission to do that. If we have access to our Zoom cloud, will it go there? Will it have to be saved to our computer? Because you are utilizing pathable Zoom licensing for it, it'll have to go to your computer because we don't have access to your own Zoom cloud, and then it'll be downloaded onto your desktop for you to store it or distribute it however you choose. And that goes for both private meetings as well, because again, it's using Pathable's licensing to conduct the meeting to begin with, so it's not connected to your Zoom cloud, but you can download that to your computer. Is it just the audio or video? It records all of it, so I think I have an example of what the file looks like when you have it downloaded. Give me just a moment here. Where's Zoom? So it'll record both for you. So by default, you'll get the audio only, the playback, and then the entire video and audio of both of them if you decide to record directly from Zoom. A couple people have put some suggestions in the chat about different ways to record. So you can kind of reference that as well, but you will get both the audio and the entire video content of that meeting should you choose. Oh, let me get back to our webpage here. Are there any other questions kind of about these virtual trade shows or anything I can answer about the site? We do have quite a bit of time, just because on your guys' end it's a little less layers, I guess, in terms of the exhibitors. So if anybody does have a question.
Any questions for Alicia?
If someone requests a meeting, do you get a notification? Yes, you do. It comes in 2 different forms. This bell icon is your notification icon when you're on the site. So you can click into here to see all of the notifications you receive. So you would get that request here as well. Additionally, if you're not on the site at the time, you will get an email letting you know that somebody has requested a meeting. So that way you can kind of log on and determine if you want to accept or decline that. I guess one other thing to mention is when that meeting is created and finalized, you'll find it in your My Agenda. This My Agenda button lists everything that is on your schedule that you have put your name down as wanting to go to and wanting to attend. So all of your private meetings will be here as well for you to click into and then join. Let's see, I don't see any other questions in the chat. So I guess just if anyone, that is all that I have in terms of presenting, just because it is a little bit quicker for you guys in terms of getting into those booths. So I'm here if anyone has any additional questions, and totally understand if we don't. So just let me know.
I know that we do have some exhibitors that weren't able to make the last call that have joined in this call this morning. Any exhibitors with some questions if broadcasters don't have any follow-ups?
When can we start adding to our interview agenda? As soon as you have access to the site, you are able to start scheduling those meetings. The meetings do have to be conducted during the live dates of this event. So you can schedule them as soon as you want, but when you click into the calendar to make the dates for it, it will be during the live part. Other people cannot see your agenda when they're scheduling meetings with you. It just says that the other person is or is not busy. It doesn't let you know what they're doing if they have something blocked on their time already. Was that a question for Tom, or was that for me? I'm so sorry.
Or either one, Tom, or I'm just trying to figure out if we'll be able to fill dance cards.
My connection cut out there, and I actually lost the call for a couple of minutes. So if you could repeat that, Brenda, that'd be great.
Sure, sorry about that. I was just wondering, we'll have multiple principals for USDA staffing the virtual booth in standby for the duration of the trade talk. If they have openings in their dance card, will we have the ability then, am I understanding correctly, to reach out to broadcasters to say, hey, you may have come by earlier or dropped in earlier or had to drop out of our waiting room, but Risk Management Agency's Administrator Martin is now available for an interview?
Yeah, so you can send those messages from within the platform itself. You can also request a meeting. So really that scheduling of interviews can be done either way, from either the broadcaster to the exhibitor, or from the exhibitor back. Whenever those scheduled meeting requests are done, it just has to be agreed to by both parties in order for it to show up on the My Agenda section.
Okay, perfect. Thank you, Tom.
You bet.
And then the question, verifying if we have to set up an interview that will be outside 7 to 1, you actually do not have to do it outside of the platform. It'll be outside of that trade show booth time slot, but it'll still be conducted in Pathable. So when you schedule that private meeting with somebody, you're scheduling it here within our platform, and then that agenda session will show up as one of your private meetings in your personal agenda, and it'll have the link for you to join into and click in and utilize Zoom. So you don't have to do it outside of Pathable. That can all be conducted here in the website. It'll just be outside of the trade talk hours that are scheduled for 7 to 1. If there are multiple people in a booth, can we request who we want to interview in that booth, or does someone just show up on my Zoom page? That depends on how the exhibitor is going to be managing their booth. You can definitely communicate that either in the discussions page of their booth, or you can say that when you get into the actual Zoom room and you're greeted by somebody from the staff. But if you want to, if you click in to a booth, you see that there's a discussion box here. So there'll be quite a few conversations going on in this. If you do want to let somebody know that there's a specific person you're looking to talk to, you can put that in here, because I know several exhibitors said they're going to monitor this area as well during the live trade show, the live trade talk event. So in terms of who you're interviewing with, a lot of them are utilizing the breakout room feature as well. So they'll be assigning you to a room with someone. So if you do have a specific person that you're looking to talk to, you can again let that host know when you're in the Zoom room and say, I'm looking to speak to John. Can I be put in the room with him? And they will move you around accordingly. And then just to reference the question about kind of reaching out to people that had to drop out of the waiting room, for any exhibitors that are here on this call, one other thing that you can do, oh, it's not my booth, sorry, let me go to the booth that I'm actually a part of. My apologies. So I have assigned myself as staff to the NAFB booth. So For any exhibitors that are kind of looking to keep a listing of kind of who's come to their page and who's been looking to talk with them, one thing you can do is in this manage button that you have on the booth that you're staffing, you do have a list of leads and visits here that you can take a look at, because everyone needs to visit your organization booth page in order to get into your Zoom room to conduct that interview with you. So this kind of is Pathable's way of keeping a list of who's coming to come see you. So if you do notice that, you know, somebody was in that waiting room and didn't get a chance to speak, or if there was anybody on this list that you know that you didn't get a chance to speak with, you can reach out to them directly, because you do have this compiled list in the back of people who've stopped by if you do want to take a look at that and talk to people.
A couple of things I had mentioned as well. I anticipate that a lot of broadcasters are going to go through Trade Talk like they would normally if we were in person in Kansas City and just go booth to booth and pick up those interviews. That's a great option to go with, and we've asked the different exhibitors to have their spokespeople available for as many hours as possible, just like we were in Kansas City. The other option is to schedule those interviews in advance if you'd like to do that. And then if you do, please make sure that you stick with that schedule, because there may be someone that steps into a booth just a few minutes before and the host holds them up and says, you know what, we've got somebody that's scheduled to do an interview with this spokesperson in 2 minutes. So please try to stick with that schedule as much as possible. Also, for the folks that have had a chance to sign into the platform, we sent credentials out to everyone who is registered for convention just shortly after 9 o'clock this morning. I'd like to remind everyone to please complete your profile information with your about info and that kind of thing. You'll notice that there's a game that's built into our virtual convention platform, and you'll receive a lot of points for your interaction that you do throughout convention. But Trade Talk definitely has some heavy points there. So participating in a booth poll, conducting an interview, downloading assets from the booth, those will all get you points. Top point winner is going to get $500 gift certificate. It goes down to $300, $200, $100, and then $50. So we'll award the top 5 places there. I think that'll be a fun, friendly competition. And thanks to Anuvia for sponsoring the online game.
And then there was a question that I saw about how to get out of a Zoom room when you're finished with the interview. I don't know if there's any exhibitors in here, but so if you look at this here, I apologize, this is only going to be for exhibitors to show, but just in that corner, you can have the option to leave the breakout room or leave the meeting altogether. So that is kind of how you'll get out of Zoom when you're finished with that interview. The rest of those controls will be by the exhibitor only for them to see, but it's the very same way. You'll click that leave breakout room if you're just looking to leave the breakout room and still go back to the main room of that page, or you can end that meeting altogether, so that way you can navigate to the site and find a different organization to go get an interview with. Someone mentioned, what if they don't receive our credentials? Tom can resend, which I think he just sent a response to that. So yeah, just make sure you check your spam or junk folders just in case any of your organization filters would have flagged it as a spam email, even though it will be from us.
I'll stick a note on there as well. If you still don't find that message, and most of the time people are, but if you still don't find that message, please reach out and let me know. There is a URL that I can send you that also will work to sign you into the site.
Any questions I can answer about the site overall as a whole, just to make sure everybody's prepared? For clarification, can exhibitors have more than one breakout room live at any time? You'll only be in the breakout room for your, more breakout rooms, sorry. Yes, there's not, the limit on breakout rooms is technically 50, so you do have several breakout rooms that you can have going at one time. It's not just one. Yeah. And if you are an exhibitor, I'm not sure your role, if you're a broadcaster and exhibitor, but if you are an exhibitor, the host for your Zoom room can move in and out of all of those breakout rooms at any time. They can also switch people around throughout them at any time as well. It looks like that might be all of the questions that we have. So I'm not sure if Tom wanted to add anything before we kind of conclude this meeting.
Just thanks to everyone for your attendance here today. We are recording this session. We'll have a post on the NAFB YouTube site. There'll be a Facebook, Twitter post that'll be made about that as soon as the video is available for everyone. I know that Alicia is going to send out some materials as well that we'll be sure to share if there's any other questions that comes up then too.
Well, thank you all for joining, and I hope you guys have a very great event coming up. So if you have any other questions that you think of last minute, definitely shoot them to Tom and he can send them my way.
Thanks, everyone.